G'day guys and welcome back to the Evolve IT Lab. My name is Lockie and we've got Ben back from Sophos. Welcome Ben.
Pleasure to be back, thank you.
Guys, today we're going to be discussing how to tell if your credit card or your bank card or your bank account has been breached. You see a lot of it on the news that people current affair and things like that. They're sort of going on about how they got spammed or fished out of money, and all of a sudden their bank cards being breached and their telephone numbers being changed. It's quite scary stuff. So Ben's here to tell us a little bit more about how you can tell whether your bank card's been breached. Ben, won't you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a few things we can do. Firstly, set up with your bank to let you know about any international transactions. I personally, when I'm not travelling outside of Australia, have it so I can't do any international transactions, so any in-shop purchasing. It essentially stops the means for your card being cloned and things like that. It's difficult because a lot of services like Apple, for example, actually use your credit card digits as a verification means.
Yeah.
So it's not uncommon, for someone to see a phish, to say, okay, well, Apple's just asking me to verify my account, I'm going to put in my credit card. So you do need to be mindful of things like that. But all in all, the main thing is to set up notifications for your bank. I know Commonwealth and NAB in the app on your phone, you can set up these kinds of things, and it's absolutely worthwhile.
Yeah, great. So credit cards and banks become a lot more innovative throughout the years, including things like PayWave. So we noticed that there's a lot of people sort of worried about PayWave and the sort of technology around that, people walking past and scanning them in their pocket and stealing those sort of details. How do you make sure that things like that are secure?
PayWave's actually incredibly secure.
Yeah, right.
So a lot of people panic. I know you can buy like RFID wallets and things like that, and they are worthwhile. They serve a purpose. But the way that PayWave works is when you actually tap, there's a key that's generated, and that has to match the bank. So if you were to, say, be on a train and someone walks past with an RFID reader and tries to clone your card, at best they're going to get one transaction before it's not going to work anymore. So they can't clone it and use it over and over again. Now, PayWave has also got a limitation of $100 before you need a PIN number. So I wouldn't actually be concerned about PayWave. It's one of the most secure ways to transact.
Yep.
You need a PIN number for over $100, and if anyone was to swipe your card, they would only ever be able to do a transaction sub $100. So you wouldn't expect the ramifications to be too catastrophic.
So what about things like, I know people sort of have pay by your phone and stuff now as well, where you can tap and scan your phone, you just have to put your fingerprint on or whatever. What's the security like around that?
It follows a really similar principle, and it's really well documented. Most banks have actually got that as well, but it's the same. You can't just walk up to a phone and scan those credentials. On your phone or your Apple Watch or your Samsung Watch, you still need to select the card, and then they ask for either your Face ID or your fingerprint to then be able to complete the transaction. So it's actually really, really secure to use a device like your Apple Watch or your phone to actually complete those transactions as well.
Great, that's some great tips. What about things like making transactions online? So you put your credit cards in online. How can you make sure things like that are secure? Should you use PayPal? Should you use one of those third-party vendors? How do you ensure that things like that are safe?
Yeah, so online, I always opt for the PayPal option. They're a trusted third party, and if you're on a website that lets you use PayPal, use PayPal. They're secure. This is their business. So I would always trust PayPal over, say, using a inbuilt website's payment system, purely because you don't know what they're doing with those card details. They would obviously use a third party transactional service to the banks. But are they storing the credentials as well? Or I should say the credit cards as well. The last thing you want is them to be processing that transaction, but maybe also storing your credit card for convenience next time, because you don't know how they're securing it. At least with PayPal is you know how they're securing it. You know that they're a trusted intermediary to be able to do that. So.
Yep, cool. So there's in addition to PayPal, there's things like Square and there's Westpac, I think, have and banks sometimes have their own as well. So Are they safe, or you much prefer to go through PayPal every single time?
Look, they're safe. It just comes down to how the website's interacting with those services. Because when you put in your credit card and click submit, it might go to the bank, but there's nothing stopping them from also, say, storing it into a database as well. So you can trust those services. It's whether you trust the site that you're purchasing from. If they're a big online store, you would probably say they're doing things right. But if they're a little, say, craft store that sells some boutique or niche objects, I probably wouldn't trust them, because cybersecurity isn't in their interest. It's not what they do.
It's a great tip. So in addition to the PayPal, you probably want to make sure you've got a really secure username and password for that. If it's holding down your credit card details, the only advice I'd probably give. But that's all I've got. Thank you, Ben.
No worries, thank you.
And thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.